We appreciate everybody who came out tonight for this town hall. We're thankful for everybody who's online watching via the internet. So a couple of things I want to get out of the way, some recognitions and some thank yous, and then we will get into what you're all here for, which is this SNUMA presentation, to learn a little bit more about what is this SNUMA that everybody's been hearing about in North Las Vegas. For those who are watching online, I'm told that there is a button down on the very bottom of the page that says interpretation. Y si hablan español, you need to click that button and it will put you into a Spanish chat room so that you can hear this this meeting tonight in Spanish. As far as recognitions go tonight, I just want to obviously recognize Councilwoman Goynes-Brown. Thank her for coming out and spending her time with the community, and she'll be speaking to us in a little bit. I also want to thank Don Seufer, who will be presenting as well tonight. Don Seufer is the president of Nevada Action for School Options. He and his staff run the day-to-day of SNUMA, and he'll be able to answer some of your questions later this evening as well. Want to thank Byron Goynes and the staff of the MLK Senior Center for spending their Friday evening with us here. It's quite a sacrifice, but we appreciate that. I also want to give a thanks out to the former Commissioner Lawrence Weekly and the Clark County Commission for putting this building together and working so hard so we have this beautiful place to be tonight. And I also want to thank Opportunity 180 for their partnership and for their hard work in ensuring that every child in Nevada sits in a seat in a school where they're being taught. Before I turn the time over to Councilwoman Goynes-Brown and to Don Seufer, I just want to say it's interesting, and I don't think it's a coincidence that we are here this evening talking about the welfare of children in North Las Vegas in the Martin Luther King Jr. Senior Center that carries the name of Dr. King, on the weekend that we are all remembering him, remembering his message, remembering his vision and how to change the world. And with that, Councilwoman, I'll turn this time over to you.
Thanks, Jared. And thank you all for spending your Friday evening with us. We truly appreciate that you are here. And like Jared said, just in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., my brother, as you know, Byron, is the director here at the center, and he always sends out a very nice quote. I can't remember the quotes he sent out today because he sent out 3, I believe, but they were just so befitting. As I reflected, as I listened to his robocall today, I'm like, wow, timing must be perfect. Things just happen for a reason. And I think this is the reason that brought us all together here, is just the welfare of the kids in North Las Vegas. SNUMA was a concept that was invented, came about because we know CCSD went totally virtual for school starting in March. Schools just shut down and they did not open back in August. Just from the data that we received at the end of the 2020 school year, it just blew our minds. And we were like, we have to do something to make sure students in North Las Vegas do not fall further behind the cracks in their educational growth. So the onset of SNUMA came on. We had a partnership with Don, and you see our name is the Southern Nevada Urban Micro Academy. We put the word urban in there because we are an urban diverse community all throughout the state of Nevada, city of Clark County, and especially in North Las Vegas. So I feel that word urban just encompasses every nationality, ethnicity that there is. We don't want to discriminate or leave anyone out. So tonight, what we're going to do is tell you what SNUMA is so that you get a thorough understanding of the program that we are running and why we so wholeheartedly believe in SNUMA and the outcomes that we've seen since we started back in August. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Don. And Don will go ahead and start, and then we'll just kind of tag team as we go through the presentation. But he can get all the nuts and the bolts and all the data and share the good stuff with you. I just like to share all the fun stuff. So Don, come on over.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and your leadership through all this whole process and just your vision for allowing this really unique and powerful learning opportunity to happen. We're just so grateful for the opportunity to serve these families that make our day every single day.
Yes.
So we're going to give a short briefing and sort of run through the nuts and bolts of what SNUMA is and how it operates every day. And I'm sure you will have questions. We did our best to anticipate these, but please, as we go, we look forward to answering those and having this be a good conversation and including those joining us online. So the Southern Nevada Urban Micro Academy it's a free world-class resource. Everything is aligned with Nevada state content standards. It's in person every day. It follows the official CCSD calendar. Classes are every day. Schools, the school hours of CCSD are very, very close to mirror what we do. 8:30 in the morning to 3:45 in the afternoon, following the CCSD calendar. Kids that want to come in early and stay late can register for Safe Key, and it's a great program. There's free breakfast and lunch every day for all children. You have to be there by 8 to 10 to do it. The first semester we've been operating in the Silver Mesa Rec Center at Allen and Alexander, and in the Alexander Library. The city graciously gave us the full run of the place of the Alexander Library, and that's our first and second grade class. We are about to open the Neighborhood Rec Center, which is on Bruce, just south of Lake Mead, to about 2 blocks south of St. Christopher School, for those of you that know that. It's also, these are full service, great recreation centers that have a gym, that have the way that this works. And well, let's go ahead and work our way through it. The nuts and bolts of the building, because we're in person every day, and number one priority throughout absolutely is health safety. So the each room, let me start there, is limited to 15 to 18 learners in each room. We've been capping each room at 15 learners, which gives us the opportunity to have 6 feet of distance at least between every child and every person in the room. Masks are worn all of the time. The groups stay in their room, so they'll eat lunch, they'll eat breakfast in the room. When they have gym activities and other activities, they'll stay together as a group, and that's really important for the exposure that anybody might have, to keep everything safe and clean. We wash hands often, we sanitize hands often. When you come into the building, your temperature is checked. We have screening questions that are part of the process. Anybody that's not feeling well goes home. We stay very closely in touch. Communication with our families is just a crucial part of this program, both in terms of teaching and learning and education, and in terms of health safety. So this is a day in the life. So the program, so everything we do is aligned with Nevada's content standards. All of the children in the micro program are registered as homeschoolers, which means, and we can get into the nuts and bolts of how this works, but you file a declaration of intent to homeschool with the Clark County School District. And all of the material we have it here to share with you today, and all of it is online at the nlvcares.com link. That said, everything we do is aligned with Nevada state content standards. And it's done in such a way that the dashboard information on how each child's learning attainment is at any given time is right there. So we have great communication with families, and you can families log in at any time and see exactly where their child is, particularly with their attainment to specific learning standards at their grade level. And if a child wants to leave and go, if schools were to open up and a child would want to go back to a different school, they can get a printout right then and there. This is where your child is with regard to their attainment of all of the standards. And it's designed in a way that couldn't be made easier for the intake at their school. That said, for children that are coming into our program, we take that deliberate intake process very seriously. So most of the children in the program now started the first day of SNUMA at the start of the school year. For children that are coming in now and children that are joining us during the year, we take our intake very seriously. So on the one hand, it's a pretty unique education program, and I'll get into it in a second in terms of what a day in the life looks like. It's a combination of whole group and small group direct instruction with our terrific team of lead learning guides. We have a strong learning intervention team that supports that, and world-class digital content. So depending on the grade levels, and the curriculum evolves. So at first and second grade, we use some learning tools that are different, right, than we do at third grade and up. And we do a deliberate assessment in the beginning and the first couple of days that a child is in the program to really get a sense of where they are, because it's absolutely crucial in any school, right? And in January, every child's learning attainment is at a different place. And I've done a lot of work with personalized learning models and to really understand where that child is in their attainment, so you can meet them right then where they are, so that your teaching and learning and your instruction is very appropriate for that kid, rather than looking out to a broad group of learners that has diverse attainment, and target the learning right to where that child is going to be is very important. And also spending the first couple of days just helping children really learn that this is that this particular model, right? We all talk in education about child-centered learning, and it's sort of such an overused term in so many ways, but this really is that. And it's a matter of, I call it an active learner paradigm, where each child comes in knowing that every decision that they're going to make that day really matters. And as they learn through a combination of really world-class digital content like Zern and Dreambox and Lexia and others that we'll talk about, it's really a matter of that child knows exactly that we assess early on where that child is, and it also really helps us measure the academic growth of our kids. And we'll finish by talking about that. Can we go back for a sec to the day in the life of SNUMA? Yes, sir. So this is it's a quite structured program, as you can see. So kids can come in and they can have breakfast anytime until about 8:10. And the school day is going to start right at 8:30. This is a pretty good example of a typical day. It evolves a little bit, but so we chose 6th grade. They'll start with a group meeting. And for the 6th grade, it's the Connection Celebration Challenge, to sort of sit down and talk about our goals and talk about a theme for the day. There's a lot of rich discussion and higher level thinking and conversation that goes into this as well, which is just very different than most of our children who've been in a distance learning environment and having to communicate in just those sort of stilted ways. This class thing goes right into its novel study. So deep reading is a crucial part of the curriculum that we use for the 6th grade. It comes from Cadence Learning, which is a world-class philanthropy operation that ran the National Summer School Initiative that we partnered with them as Nevada's partner this summer. The work that they do, it's all vertically aligned. So the reading and the math and the social the novel that they're going to read ties into the social studies curriculum. Last month it was reading about refugees. The vocabulary words in the reading tie into the reading standards, and it's all vertically aligned in that way. So then we'll shift into movement and mindfulness, which is such a for the little guys, it's a really cute part of the program. They do really deliberate, whether it's yoga or dance or really just moving around, and it's a really thoughtful program. Some of the older kids, we have the beautiful campus at Silver Mesa. We'll go outside and take a walk. It's an important part of the morning. Then we'll shift into self-directed literacy and literacy interventions, which we use Lexia. Many of you are probably familiar with Lexia from the schools that you've used before. It is a deep and rich model, and I think a lot of what we're seeing in the distance learning program don't really dive into the real strength of that program, but it's a crucial tool. And our intervention teams, our learning interventionists, which is a crucial part of our program, will engage with our learners at those times, help them pass things that they're stuck on. Parents are always informed, if we've got sight words or vocabulary words that we're doing. It's a rich learning process, and the gains that we're seeing in reading and literacy have been really strong. So I don't need to run through the whole day, but we take a break for lunch. We do half an hour for lunch and an hour of gym and recreation time, which is so crucial for our kids, and dive into the rest of the class, which is social studies, science, and math, which is a lot of our math happens on Dreambox, which is just a world-class program that when we've worked with our professional development around these programs, I think our our learning guides who've been veteran teachers for a long time in different systems around Nevada. It's just some of the best professional development. It's a really good, rich program. And we go through our enrichment activity, and then we get ready to go home. Now, a lot of the kids get dropped off as early as 6:30 or 7 in the morning and get picked up at 6:30 at night through the terrific Safe Key program. Mr. Cameron's over there running it now. And in the course of that time, we have some really great resources like Duolingo is a popular one. It's a great way to learn a second language, and other resources that are part of the program too. We don't have very much homework. We have opportunities to use these programs then, so we can go home and let kids be kids. I think we talked through this is the heart of the learning model. Here's the learning platforms that most of what we use. I mean, they're sort of the heart and soul of what we use. The deliberate intake process and the dashboards that I mentioned. So if you're a parent and you've got a child in SNUMA, and we're in touch all the time, but you absolutely can log in right then and there and see exactly where your child is, what vocabulary words that they're working on, what are some resources. We're in touch with our families when it comes to over breaks or over the holidays. A lot of our families were logging in and combating learning loss. This is a whole program that was designed to combat learning loss. For educators, that's been such a challenge and such a factor in learning gaps, and some of that happens over the holiday break, right? So we've been everything we can possibly do to counter that is crucial, I think. So I mentioned earlier when our children come into the program, we have embedded assessments that, and first of all, they're adaptive assessments. So it's a great way of doing things, right? So if for an example that I like to give is your child sits down at the program and gets 2 answers right in a row, it skips ahead, and if they get 2 answers wrong in a row, it sort of skips back, and it's a really well-designed, world-class ed tech program. We've got some really great ed tech partners, some of the best in the country that are part of our team that have designed these tools that are really great to meet children where they are. So this is an example of a reading comprehension piece from Dreambox. There's a strong social justice bent to this work, and everything is aligned with the strong social justice bent that's in the Nevada Social Studies Standards. And here's an example of that. Here's what math looks like. So, and Dreambox is fun. I mean, I don't know, I think it's more fun than Nickelodeon games, and kids would rather do it than some of the other stuff that they're spending time at home doing over breaks. So let's talk about the learning gains, right? Because this is such a crucial, I mean, I've come into this work after decades as an education researcher, and learning gains are just so absolutely crucial all of the time. And I'll let you talk about that and how important that is in all of our mission with education, but especially right now. So when we started a program, and I do a lot of work in the charter school world and across education, where the goals for learning gains for any new public school, really anywhere in America, is that if you can come in and achieve 110% high single digit gains so that your child is learning 110% of a year's worth of learning in an academic year, it's considered a very strong school. Our learners in the first semester are blowing past that, well on pace to get well over 125% of a year's learning in their full school year, and we're seeing that here. This is a great example of it. 3 out of 4 of our children arrive to us below grade level, mostly quite below grade level, two grades below grade level and more. Currently, 3 out of 5 are at or above grade level in English language arts, and comparable in math. Our program in math is it's a much more holistic approach in math, so that kids are typically working above, at, and below their level in math. It's just I think a rich and successful way to do it, and I think we're having a lot of luck with Dreambox. Here's some more. So again, it's longitudinal learning growth. We don't talk about that much. So the Nevada system for measuring school quality very much is based on the growth of individual learners over time. It's 40% of the metric for evaluating schools in Nevada. And so that's very much what we're doing here. And our program compares very favorably to what those learning gains are in the home schools that our children come to us from. And that's how to reach me. So we look forward to answering your questions now. And that's how to reach me at any time. I'd love to answer your questions and talk through as they go. Councilwoman.
One thing that I'm most proud about with our SNUMA program is just watching the children when you go and visit them. We've done virtual tours. We've done a few in-person tours, but first of all, we want to protect your babies. We want to make sure that they're safe and that our staff is safe. But talking to the kids, you ask them, why do you like SNUMA? The answers are astonishing. They will say, we get to take our time and learn. We have someone here that helps us if we don't understand something. They just don't rush us through material if we don't get it. If we don't get it, they go back and they make sure that we understand it. We like being with friends. They've all had to make new friends, and we like who we're with. We have fun. And then the guides that work with them are absolutely amazing as well. And it's just nice to see in-person instruction. At the same time, the kids are on the screen with the class. I think when we were there, they were in a literacy class from New York. They were just, collaborating with these kids on the screen. It was just really a nice concept to see. And so, and I know that if your child is not a good independent learner, that they're not going to do extremely well in distance education. And you just cannot make up 6-7 months worth of losses in what's going on right now. We're able to be successful simply because our classes are extremely small. We have space to spread out, and we make sure and I'm going to probably say this a million times, first and foremost, that we take care of our babies, that they're safe, that we social distance, and that they're washing their hands, that the rooms are being sanitized, because we have the means to do that. And so with that being said, we can go into questions. I know you have lots of questions, so please.
Bring a parent up.
I forgot, we have a couple SNUMA parents here, our SNUMA Puma parents. So if you want to come on up and just tell us, Sandy, about your experience. Sandy, come on up. Patrick, stand right in front of that microphone.
Okay. Hi, my name is Sandy Lopez, and I'm going to talk about my experience with SNUMA, first in English and then in Spanish. Entonces, primero voy a hablar en inglés de mi experiencia con SNUMA y después voy a hablar en español. When the pandemic hit back in March, I remember everyone felt a little scared and worried, and we were in the same boat. I remember when school closed and my daughter was honestly at first very excited because she got to stay home with mom and dad and Mama and her baby sister. And then after about 2 weeks, she got really bored. It was hard for her to log in. At first it was exciting. She would get to see her friends on the computer. But then after that, she could not pay attention in class. She didn't like computer work. It was a struggle for me to try to get her to do her classwork and her homework. And, we went through a lot of tantrums. We got into a couple of fights, and she's honestly like me. We're a little timid, but we love socializing. We like making friends. And so it was tough. And that was her kindergarten year. So it was a hard time. But when the city of North Las Vegas, which I work in the communications department, when they create this program, honestly, I was a little nervous because as a mom, you want the best for your kids. And this is a new program. So I wasn't sure about it. I just wanted the best for my kiddo. I wanted her to have a good education, even during this pandemic. And I decided to take a chance on it because I knew distance learning was not for us. She is 6 years old. She's actually in that room over there. And so I talked to her about it. She was a little bit nervous at first. She was like, I don't know if I'm going to make new friends, and I don't know these kids. It's not my normal school. It's not my normal class. But we took a chance, and I think after the first week, she was so happy being there because she got used to it. She made so many new friends, and that's what she needed, for her mental health. That was really good to socialize. And she now has a best friend that she talks to every day. She has her class that she loves. She tells me about her school day every day after school. Well, after I come home from work, she'll tell me about all the new things she learned. She loves yoga, which is what they do in class. She loves dancing to Kids Bop. And what else? She's just honestly really happy. And even today, I was talking to her on the way here, and I asked her, well, what should I tell these parents who, don't know anything about SNUMA? What is it that you like about it? And she said, I love that the teacher helps me. She takes time when I raise my hand to help me with some classwork. And I love having my friends there. And I just like having a good routine. And so, tomorrow's Saturday, and even today, she said, do I get to go to school tomorrow? And I told her, no, it's not until Tuesday now because we're off on Monday. And she was a little sad about that. But I think that speaks volumes about the program, because the fact that my kiddo, who, doesn't love learning, she doesn't love homework and doing things like that, like most kids, she likes playing. The fact that she looks forward to school says so much. So that's why, as parents, kids are your world. And I would not put her in anything I didn't believe in. So I can honestly say I love SNUMA. My kid loves SNUMA. She even asked after the pandemic, am I going to have to go back to my normal school? So, we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but I know that right now she's really happy. She's learning how to read and write. I see her advancing. So I honestly love SNUMA. And that's what I wanted to say about that. Ahorita voy a hablar de mi experiencia con SNUMA rápido en español. Tengo una niña que tiene 6 años y me acuerdo cuando empezó la pandemia, era tan difícil para nosotros porque mi niña al principio le gustaba estar en la computadora, le gustaba ver su clase, pero después de 2 semanas ya se burró, no le gustaba, no podía poner atención, no quería hacer la tarea que tenía que hacer. Y nosotros, yo y su papá, peleábamos con ella, le decíamos, tienes que hacer esta tarea para avanzar, y ella todavía estaba chiquita, estaba en kindergarten. Entonces era muy difícil para nosotros. Ella nomás quería estar en la casa y quería jugar, no quería estar en la computadora. Y ella está con su abuelita vive con nosotros, pero ella nomás habla español. Y entonces ella no puede atender lo que dicen las maestras. Y yo y mi esposo trabajamos. Entonces era muy difícil para nosotros cuando teníamos que ayudarla o su abuela la tenía que ayudar. Pero terminó, y cuando la ciudad de North Las Vegas empezó SNUMA, yo y su papá no estábamos seguros si queríamos llevar a mi niña allá porque era algo nuevo, no sabíamos qué iban a hacer los niños. Queríamos que ella avance, pero no sabíamos cómo iba a estar el futuro. Pero decidimos llevarla a SNUMA y estamos muy contentos que la llevamos, porque ella le encanta ir a la escuela, tiene muchos amigas y amigas. La clase es pequeña y eso me gusta porque sé que ella está segura allí. Todos los niños tienen su máscara, se lavan sus manos, y siempre me dice de su día, aprende mucho. Ahorita está en el 1er grado, está aprendiendo cómo escribir, cómo leer. Y siempre que vengo del trabajo a la casa, me dice de todo lo que ha aprendido. Le gusta la yoga, le gusta bailar, porque también tienen actividades así. Y está feliz, está contenta. Cuando teníamos vacaciones de Navidad, ella no quería dejar la escuela, no quería estar en la casa tanto, quería regresar a su escuela, regresar a sus clases, ver sus amigas. Y hasta hoy me dijo que cuando termine este año no quiere ir a su escuela que iba antes, se quiere quedar en SNUMA. Entonces yo creo que eso dice mucho de lo que está haciendo la ciudad de North Las Vegas con esta escuela, porque ustedes saben, como papás, nuestros niños son nuestro mundo. No queremos que algo le pase a los niños. Y yo creo que para mi niña, para su Su mente es bueno estar con otros niños, porque ella se fastidia estar en la casa, en la computadora, no le gusta, se pone triste. Entonces nosotros estamos muy contentos que ella está en SNUMA. Eso es todo lo que quería decir.
Thank you, Sandy. All right. We don't have anybody else. Okay, so that at this time on your table is information for you to take with you. And we anticipated some questions that you might want to ask on there that have already been answered, but we certainly do welcome any additional questions. We want to be as thorough as possible and answer any questions that you have. So ask away. Yes, ma'am. If you want to just kind of shout it to me, then I'll just repeat it to make sure everyone hears it. She's asking, when does the 7th and 8th grade program start?
In all likelihood on a week from Monday, the 25th.
The 25th, a week from Monday. She's asking, do we have bus service? At this time, we do not. We were having conversations about that as we speak, and more information will become as time goes on. But right now, we do not have transportation. I'm sorry. How much is Safe Key? I don't know what Safe Key fees are. 36 a year. 36 a year.
$3 a month.
$3 a month.
And for the self-direct learning program, that's just, that's like a tutorial, something like that.
The self-direct learning program, she's asking, is that a tutorial? I'm going to let Don answer that question.
It's all embedded in the program. It's all part of the program.
Okay, thank you. Good questions. Way in the back, ma'am, please, can you stand up, please, and kind of shout your question out? If my child is already enrolled in school, how can we help them out? For them to be a part of the micro school program, they will have to withdraw from their CCSD school. They will be declared as a homeschooler, and then they can enroll in the micro school program that we offer. I hope, is that an answer to her question? Okay. And if we have applications here, it is free. You're welcome to fill it out, or you can take it with you, or you can go on nlvcares.com and fill out the application there. And let's say CCSD decides maybe in August that they are going to go back to face-to-face learning. If you're not happy with our program, you are more than welcome to go back to your zone school and enroll. But we want to keep you, just saying. Yes, ma'am. Okay. The question is, are there accommodations for students who are English language learners?
So we thank you to those watching online. So the program does include some accommodations. And we have in the fall semester, all of our children spoke English, but many of our parents did not. So keeping that communication has been an important part. We are doing some new adaptations at particularly some of the grade levels, particularly I think because at the neighborhood rec center community, we're going to have a lot of families who are English language learners themselves. So there are accommodations, and we're bringing those more, adapting into the program as we go.
Bilingual guides too?
Okay.
Yes. Oh, and many of our learning guides are bilingual as well.
Another question
Thanks.
is there a wait list, and what are the grades that SNUMA serves?
Just repeat the question.
Is there a wait list, and what are the grades that SNUMA serves? SNUMA serves grades 1 through 8. There are I think all of the spots right now at the Silver Mesa Rec Center may be full. And at the neighborhood rec center, the classes and the new program, the new classes that are starting, we do have some spaces available at every grade level. And we have growing interest lists. So there's not wait lists yet, but that's going to probably happen pretty soon. So I would definitely encourage families to register soon. And if you're not sure about the questions, let us know, because there is interest is growing fast.
And just to piggyback off of that, we are going to plan on demand. If we need to expand to different bigger spaces, we can certainly accommodate that. We have classrooms at our rec center that we can add another classroom. Also, we have the whole Alexander Library, so we can definitely expand if we need to. Just depends on the demand. Just to repeat the URL to register online, it's nlvcares.com. And then you're going to click on the SNUMA banner. Any other questions from our live audience? Ask away, please. Yes, way in the back. The light is so bright I can't see you. What are we offering for kindergarten? Don, you want to take that one? Okay.
SNUMA, because of the program, does not serve kindergarten. It starts at first grade, I'm afraid. There are other very strong Vegas Strong type programs around the valley, and we're more than happy to help you find those, but our program starts in grade 1, I'm afraid. Yes, ma'am.
What were the target groups again? Residents of city of North Las Vegas, first responders, and city employees. Is that only North Las Vegas city employees, or is that anywhere?
So the question is, what is the targeted group, whether it's North Las Vegas, first responders, employees? When on the onset, we wanted to open it up to our city employees and our first responders, because we have a lot of employees, of course they're working, and so with our first responders. So, and then we opened it up to the community of North Las Vegas. We want to make sure that we service our kids first, and then we may branch out, but it's just really important that we service North Las Vegas students first. Yes. She has a daughter in the magnet school and she doesn't know if she can get her over there. Is transportation a problem, or is just being at the magnet school? You can register anytime for the SNUMA program. Schools are open now. A lot of administrators are in the building, some are not, but I would call that school so that you can go over there and take care of the withdrawal process, and then you can enroll in our SNUMA program. Do they lose their seats if they leave the magnet school? I don't know. You are right about that. We'll have to get some more information on that. I don't want to speak for Clark County School District, but I have to see if they have some lenient, given the circumstances that we are, would they be a little bit lenient about that rule? So make sure that we have your contact information. We'll definitely get back to you on that one. Any other questions? I know you have questions. I can see you're thinking, please ask. We don't want you to leave here not knowing or having your questions answered. Okay.
Do you offer any type of special assistance for students who were engaged in GATE or gifted education?
So do we have any accommodations for students who are gifted or were in a GATE program?
Sure. So the real beauty of this personalized learning model is it absolutely meets children where they are. And we do have children who are performing at above grade level. And there's lots of depth of enrichment in the program. So GATE children perform very well in the program and are constantly being challenged by levels of depth and material that meets, if they're ahead of grade level, we can absolutely not waste their time and keep them learning on their own learning trajectory. So I think that's a real strength of the program.
would a nurse be considered first responder as put in consideration of the priorities? And then also, sorry, start with that.
The question was, would a nurse be considered first, first priority in our order? It's not really an order. That's just the order that we set out at the City of North Las Vegas. So we will absolutely welcome another first responders. It's not, I'm not going to say you're not a first responder, you can't come, or you're just an ordinary citizen like me. But if you're interested in the program, we will most definitely love for you to attend.
And then you serve all grades at each of the locations.
Do we serve all grades at each of the locations? Sort of yes and sort of no.
So we're just opening a 7 and 8 classroom for the very first time next week, and that will be coming online at the neighborhood rec center. And as demand for it grows beyond one class, we will look forward to address growing to meet the demand. They're also, because of so we've got a first and second grade classroom that's at the Alexander Library, and a first and second grade classroom that's at the Silver Mesa Rec Center, which are very close to full. And I don't know for sure yet that the capacity will be there to do that at Neighborhood Rec Center. So I'm not sure about that, but we do have all grades 1 through 8 are served between the different facilities. Does that help?
And just go ahead and answer that, and I'll kind of piggyback.
So our curriculum that we've got does not go through high school. It goes through grade 8. It does not include high school.
And just to the prior question, again, as the demand comes, if we need to open a 7th and 8th grade class at another center, we're open to doing that. This depends on the need. We're here to meet your needs. Okay, any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Do we have a program for special education? And I think we can kind of tailor that off the gifted question as well. So do you want to?
Sure.
Like the way you worded it was really good.
Okay, thanks. We're not a public school. We're a place. We're legally speaking a homeschool co-op. So the federal protections that are in law and regulation around special needs don't work with us, and don't apply to our program. Likewise, if you have an IEP and we're not a member of your IEP team, in fact, we're not even really allowed to ask about your IEP that you have. That said, we have special needs students in the program whose needs are being met, according to the parents, better than they have been at their schools. So we absolutely would love to work with your child, but we're not, like, as far as the very important civil rights and protections for special needs children that are part of the public school system. We're not part of the public school system, so it's a different track for serving children, if that makes any sense.
Okay, good. Okay, go ahead.
Can you walk through, so a parent wants to register,
Mhm.
they go online and register, and then what's the process for them to to submit their intent to homeschool? Could you walk through that process?
I'll give that to you.
And the timeline as well.
Okay, absolutely. So the question is, what's the process basically for enrolling?
Great. Okay, so the process for enrolling. So if you go to nlvcares.com, the City of North Las Vegas website, at the very top, you can't miss the blue banner for SNUMA, for the Southern Nevada Urban Rec Academy. Click there and you'll see the participation form, the registration form. It's got a lot of questions, but it's all straightforward. Most of the questions that we want to ask are your child's birth date, who your emergency contacts are, who's going to be allowed to pick up the children, those sorts of questions. So, and if you're stuck on any of them, or if the website isn't working for you, just reach out to us. My email is don@nevadaaction.org. You've got my contact information, and it's on all of the information if we can help. So number one is absolutely go ahead and fill out the participation form for the program, because that's crucial. Space, there's a lot of interest. So I would really encourage you to go ahead and do that first. The second step you'll see, and the website has a parent's guide on it, and includes for children who are going to participate in our program, it's important that all families within the first week of being SNUMA participants will file the notice of intent to homeschool for every child that is at second grade and above. And it's important, we talk to our families a lot. So the form is we have copies of the form here, and there's a link to it on our website. And as part of that, you need to include a statement of your education plan. That's Nevada law surrounding homeschoolers. If you have any questions of that, we're more than happy to help. And you need to do that within a week for every child who's over the age of 7. And that's important because legally speaking, if your child does not attend a public school, they would be truant without that. And once they file that form, you won't get you don't get a recognition or an acknowledgement of the form. You just file it with the Clark County School District at the address listed. If you want to put a notice, a return receipt on the, so you get a certificate that it comes back because the school district doesn't issue receipt, but that will satisfy your needs. And once you file that, you're officially a homeschooler, and you're very much within the legal framework to be a, you're now a homeschooler, and you're a part of our program.
So what does the time frame look like then?
The time
Matter of
frame.
days or
To file.
to complete the process?
Oh yeah. So literally, if you want to go on right now and sign up on the registration form, go ahead and do that. Chances are our team will get back to you with some questions. We nearly always do, or at the very least, just to confirm a couple of the most important details. And then we'll let you know at that point exactly where you are, if there's room in the space in your grade level and your facility right away. We'll let you know right away, and we can sign you up right there. If we get a flood of people who are registering today and we have to hit a temporary wait list, we'll let you know that, and we'll keep you apprised of the process and just be in touch with you as the process. But if you want to go on now and sign up right away, that's great. We'll let you know, and then you don't need to file the notice of intent until you start to actually participate in the program. And school started Monday.
So overall, a couple of days, just in general.
Yeah.
Couple
Oh,
days,
unless we have to add a
couple,
teacher for a
3,
new
5
class.
days.
Yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Me gustaría inscribir a mis hijos en esta escuela, pero quisiera ver qué probabilidad hay de que hubiera transporte. Como yo trabajo, ocuparía como alguien de los.
She's asking about transportation, what's the probability of there being transportation on the road?
The probability of being transportation down the road is, we just don't know right now. I'm just gonna be honest with you, we don't know right now. That's just something that we are working on, and hopefully we can work out something soon. Because I know that could be a barrier for some families as well. Okay. The question is, do students need to take a COVID test before starting? They do not. It would certainly be your choice if you would want to do that for your child. Their temperatures are checked every single day before they are allowed to come into the building. We take that very, very seriously. Same with the staff that's there. We don't allow the parents to come into the building, just the students. So you just drop them off, we temperature check them, and then they're welcome to their classroom. Yes.
The safety is from 3:45 until what time?
Is it 6:30-ish? Yes.
Okay.
I haven't done safe key in a long time. Okay. Any additional questions? So, yes.
So when you started this, was this your expectation of the student growth? And, you started this obviously because you saw it.
Yes.
Has it fulfilled your expectations? Like, what were your expectations going in?
Our expectations going in were that students would not fall further behind or fall behind. It's kind of exceeded my expectations just because I've seen how the program works. I am a retired CCSD administrator, so I see both ends of it. CCSD was great for me, and it was a great career, but seeing the micro school program and what our kids are doing, it's just phenomenal. So it has exceeded my expectations, and the joy on the child's face tells the whole story, in my opinion. So they are making academic gains. Okay, if we don't have any other questions, I'd like to thank you once again for spending your evening with us on a Friday. And I'd also like to thank all of the stakeholders and my staff that's here with us. And I'm going to start with Jared, our Government Affairs Director, Patrick, our PIO Director. Sandy also has a child in SNUMA, and she also works in our communication office. Rebecca, raise your hand, is our Chief of Staff. Of course, Don with our fabulous micro school CEO is what I call him. And I think Ashley are you still here? Ashley Campbell is the Chief of Staff for SNUMA. And who am I forgetting? I know I'm forgetting somebody. Ayama, who's out there that checked you in and took your temperatures when you came. And also in the back there is my big brother, I'm the baby, Byron Goynes, who's the director of the Martin Luther King Senior Center. So I just want to thank him for allowing us to use this space this evening. If you have any questions once we dismiss, please come up and ask. Please, please, please ask your questions. Thank you all so very much for being here. Have a great rest of your evening.
Yeah. And just one more note for those who are here, if you would like to register now via paper, we have forms in the back. We can help you fill those out. Otherwise, as soon as you go home or on your phone even, nlbcares.com, click on the SNUMA banner, and there's a big enroll now in English and Spanish. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.